the reason why you're probably so super successful, it's because it's authentic Mediterranean. It's not franchise Mediterranean, if you know what I mean, right? Yeah,
Absolutely. It's hard. And that takes a lot of effort to maintain, quite honestly.
of course. So you might not grow as fast as another brand, but it sounds like that you guys don't want to compromise the quality for quantity of locations. Like you don't need to necessarily be the Chipotle of Mediterranean. Not that you couldn't be, but it is going to be super difficult to keep that quality intact.
I call that meaningful growth.
Yeah.
And I really mean it because, I have a lot of applicants, like people come through the website, that come through other, outlets. But the issue is that do I really want to grow with numbers, or do I really want to grow successfully, right, with those numbers? And I chose B. I chose B because, I'd rather go slow, meaningful growth versus expand at the expense of the brand quality.
Sure. And it's not just the quality of the food, but it's also how we interact with the community. And I understand you guys did something pretty special during COVID because it couldn't have been easy. Obviously, trying to open locations during COVID. Of course, we know that there was an explosion of, DoorDash and Uber Eats and everything. But why don't you share with the audience a little bit about what you guys did during COVID?
Well, thank you, Frank. Actually, this experience, I think, is the most profound experience of my life, quite honestly. So
Really?
during COVID, yeah, as we all know, COVID was devastating for restaurants because many, many, many of them didn't even make it, right? I mean, we were losing business, we were losing the revenue, rent, all of that. We were not able to sustain ourselves. And so many, many restaurants had to shut down. I made the decision to keep my doors open for my employees to continue to have, jobs and to be able to pay their own bills. Now, granted, we did not give everybody 40 hours a week, but at least they were able to come in and make, hours and get paid. The other thing that I did is that I looked around and I found many, many other people who are way less fortunate than we are, right? At least we were able to keep our doors open. We were able to pay our employees, but there are many others who ended up in homeless shelters or were already on the streets and didn't have the support that they used to have. So I collaborated with nonprofits in our area, and I encouraged, everybody that I know who is in the restaurant business to do that. But it is difficult, right? I mean, when you are holding on to your dear dollar because you don't know if you're going to have it the next day or not, it's difficult to give that away or part of it away. But nonetheless, this is a lesson that I learned in my life, that it is always a good time to give back to the community, to charity. And so we collaborated with the nonprofits in our area, and we were able to make serious, fresh, hearty meals and take them to the homeless shelters. And my team was so excited, but at the same time surprised. Is like, really? I mean, we don't have customers and you're giving away food. And I was like, no, this is not giving away. This is giving back, right? And this is going to come back and bless us in so many other ways. And it still does. It still does. People still ask me about this and talk about it. And I say it with all humility that I never made this for publicity reasons. I really made it because in my heart, I believe that we have to help each other. And we still do. And honestly, Frank, 90% of our giving is unpublicized, untold, unmarketed for, because that's not why we do it. And, if someone would like to tell that we donated to them and share with others and thank us for it, then great. But 90% of our giving is actually tucked, where it should be. And it's not talked about, right?
That's beautiful. It's so beautiful when you're willing to give back without truly getting or expecting anything in return. And
Absolutely.
it's that kind of karma that's going to lead your brand to much higher heights. You know that, right?
Thank you. That's what I'm hoping for. Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
feel it. I
it
feel it
will.
honestly. Like we emerged from COVID, as a matter of fact, stronger than ever, because this is immediately after COVID is when we were able to expand through Walmart, right? And then franchisees heard about us, and we were able to close some deals. And I think part of that is secretly giving back to the community, and just wait for the blessings to come back in a different way.
Yeah. I kind of feel like your brand is like a lightning in a bottle right now. But you're controlling how how much and how fast that lightning is going to go. And I think that that's going to be really challenging, because as this brand continues to catch fire, telling people no in franchising is a challenge, even if it is feeling like it's the right person, because you need to really grow at that right pace, for you guys. Tell me though, what is kind of the ideal franchisee? What does the ideal franchise owner look like? What are the traits that they typically have with their background that come to you?
For Shawarma Press, I think what we're looking for is someone who is a true entrepreneur, like someone with that fire in them, that they want to do something and they want to do it for themselves, rather than let me go ahead and open a franchise and have someone else run it for me. What I'm looking for after my own experience is that someone who actually has that spirit, and they want to sweat it. They want to talk the talk and walk the walk, right? I just don't want them to come and say, all right, here you go, take my money and put my name on a store. That would be great, but what I'm looking for, quite honestly, after my own experience, is someone who wants to do this for themselves, and actually have a business to their name. And at the same time, I want them to be flexible enough to trust me, that why do you have to do this a certain ways? Because trust me, I learned from my own mistakes. So they need to be able to follow the policies and the rules and the guidelines as well. So entrepreneurs sometimes, they can be a little bit too excited, and
Right.
they want to change everything, thinking that, okay, you know what, but I can do this a little bit better, or just change it. I think at this time, if they're going to be a franchisee, there's a reason why we hand them over those ops manuals and guides. But at the same time, I still want their spark to shine through and actually take this forward.
Yes. This is so interesting. Now, I'm new at podcasting, right? I'm not a professional. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a media guy. I'm just somebody who's been in franchising, and I have had very limited experience with talking with other founders in the food business and food concepts. However, recently I did interview somebody that was in the food concept franchise, and they also said that having somebody as a franchisee with entrepreneurial spirit was important. Whereas I noticed in some of the other concepts, some of the other service-based, we just want somebody that's going to follow the rules strictly. And here's the thing, Sawsan, that this franchisor said is that I needed their entrepreneurial spirit in the restaurant, because I need them willingly to put in those hours. And yes, they have to follow the system, but it's a whole lot different than if it's just manager based, because this franchisor was all about the quality also. That's a lot different than most franchises, is it not?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why, Frank. It's because we can put everything in place, right? We can hire the people and we can give them the ingredients to work with. But without a leader with passion, this is not going to go anywhere. This is going to be just like any other regular restaurant that you walk into and you don't feel anything. You just, you eat the food and go. What I'm looking for, and I'm pretty sure the other franchisor that you were speaking to kind of, feels the same way. I need someone to welcome you when you come in as if you're walking to their own homes. And I want my employees to walk into my restaurant every morning knowing that they're going to have a fulfilling, day, right? I mean, yes, we're going to chop tomatoes and onions and chicken and beef like we do every single day, but the environment, the culture that they are going to work in is very important. So we're talking about two, I guess, like two things that are related. So the passion is towards the customers.
Yes.
Towards the employees. And I think a lot of people forget about their employees. They think they just clock in and clock out, and they just, but that's not how we do it at Shawarma Press. And
thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.